Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we're doing our Monday live show. And hopefully, I've figured it out so I can actually be live properly and not have that stupid little bit in the middle where I find out whether I am or not. Lots to talk about today. The main topic, really, is going to be I've been trying to talk about it for the last sort of 3 weeks about how to build a football club and all that sort of stuff, and all the things that you need to do behind the scenes to actually run and build a football club, because nobody knows. And if you think that, oh yeah, they do, no, they don't. And if you listen to the other media and currently what's going on, you can actually read between the lines and actually sort of figure out what they're really saying. So right now, obviously, we've got Ruben Amorim's gone and Maresca's gone, but they're all talking about like why Maresca is going to go to Man City because he's worked inside that system and he knows what's going on. Well, because Man City is a structurally organised football club. So that's what they're really talking about. It's structurally organised football clubs, and there aren't any. And if you think there are, well, there just isn't. Okay. We know that from Manchester United, which we're going to cover. And if you go through from Forest, that's not the case with them either. If you go through like Chelsea, obviously, West Ham's a disaster. And we're going to cover each one of these as we go through. But we're going to start off with United because it's vitally important that we don't gloss. And this is what happens in football. Everybody just glosses over what's going on and they completely forget what's happened in the past. You have to look at how Ruben Amorim came into the club in the first place at Manchester United. And you're going to see an abundance of this, by the way, that's happening through. Unfortunately, I've worked with so many of these coaches. They're hipster coaches. They can't actually organize and run anything. Amorim is an awful manager. Yes, he is, buddy. Absolutely. But here's the thing. He's not a manager. And he was trying to say that he was, but he's not. He's a football coach. And there's this, that's what all that sort of problem was about. He was trying to say, no, I'm a manager. No, you're not. You're a football coach, and you're a bad one at that. And there's a difference between managers and football coaches. Like Pep Guardiola is not really a manager. He's a football coach. And he's just around, he's just around the right club at the right time is Pep, where the infrastructure of the club takes care of everything that he needs to. So he can just do one simple thing, that's coach football. If Pep was in a Chelsea or a West Ham or a Manchester United, he wouldn't be the coach he is. Look at the clubs he's been at. They are structured institutions. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and Manchester United. Manchester United was set up for him to come in years before he did. Okay, there's a completely difference in the infrastructure that is at Manchester City than there is at Chelsea. And if you listen to what's going on in the media, you can hear it in the background. Oh, yeah, I did hear it. Eddie might be leaving. We're going to come on to that when we get onto another poorly run football club. And you've got to understand the differences between the football clubs, what makes them poorly run, and what can actually make them a good football club. And when you can identify this, you can already predict what's going to happen with the managers down the road, and you can see exactly how it's going to portray and go through. So if you take it like there's many sort of different levels and layers of football clubs, and they don't understand who or what they are. Manchester United is one is included. They're not an institution behind the scenes anymore like they were 25, 30 years ago. And remember, Manchester United's business model was buy the best player in the league that isn't on our team and we'll go and win the league because we've got all the other best players. That isn't the case anymore. They can't do that. All of that's gone. And the most important thing is, can they win on the field? Well, you set yourself up to win on the field, and there's many ways you do that. So before we get, I'm going to say a little bit about Forest and Marinakis and why he was successful last season and he's not this season. You've got to think of these businesses as like corporate institutions, a mom and pop run family businesses, because that's what football is, right? This is a family business. He can have all the billions in the world, but he's still a small podunk family business corner store. Okay. Man United have been poor for 20 years. Yeah, because they think they're something they're not. And that's the problem. They're a small podunk business. And it doesn't matter that they've got billions in ad revenue and all of this. They've still been run by the guy that was in charge, Alex Ferguson, running the shop. And when he's not there running the shop collapses. And they're not set up to run any other way. There isn't enough infrastructure behind at Manchester United, and there never will be, as long as you have people like Gary Neville and Rio Ferdinand chopping off all the time on TV. They will never get that infrastructure behind their club. It won't happen. You don't have that with Man City. You don't have that at Arsenal. So they're able to build an institution and actually all the behind the scenes mechanics that's needed to run a football club. Forest aren't one of those clubs. West Ham aren't one of those clubs. They rely on something completely different and the way that they run their club. And now what they're thinking that they are a Manchester City, or they are, one of these massive corporations and companies, and they're not. So everything falls apart when you forget who you are as a football club and you start trying to do something different than you previously did. Like on Forest Fan TV, they were alluding to it, but they didn't understand it on their live stream on Sunday night, when they were saying Marinakis was always there talking to Nuno and that relationship failed. Well, think about that. That's the owner and the manager. Massively, massively important. But what's the downfall here with Ruben Amorim as well? Oh, yeah. So Ruben Amorim's problem is, well, he thought he was in charge at the football club. He said it in his words, I'm the manager. He's not. He was there as a coach. So let's look at the infrastructure of Manchester United and think about what they were trying to do. So Jim Ratcliffe told it. He said he was trying to build an infrastructure of a club. It's going to take 3 years, and it takes 5 years to do something like that. It takes 3 years to put a good team on the field. 5 years to actually make it so it comes in, ticks in over and over and over. So if you're trying to build this infrastructure behind, you need a manager that's going to play to that pattern, and this is the way that we're going to play forward. The problem is that's none of the Manchester United DNA. Fast attacking, counter-attacking football down the wings. That's was Manchester United's DNA. Ruben Amorim's slow, boring 3-5-9-1-2 formations of hipster football is not Manchester United DNA. So you can't have the club trying to build the DNA for a specific manager, because they come and go. If you look at Barcelona's DNA and its structure, it's exactly the same as Ajax's. So that's the same model. They're just doing the club. This is how the club is. Look at Bayern Munich. This is the club. This is what we do. We buy the best players in the Bundesliga. This is what we do. They already have their structure in place as a club. You cannot have a coach and then try to build the club's DNA to that coach, unless, of course, it's a smaller club and you've got an owner that's directly involved. And you had that as well at Chelsea with Roman Abramovich. He was directly involved. He would make a change on a whim. He would do something straight away. And that's what think about what Marinakis did with one of his players. He basically held him as hostage to the media and said, "Nah, he's not going anywhere." I think it was Gibbs White. "Nah, he's not going anywhere. He's staying right here." Yeah, that's what you want your owner to do. But when your owner puts in other levels of structure, with Marinakis, it's Edu, and these other elements in there, these people become like it's not really a word for it. They're power crazy, and they think that they're in charge of everything. And it's adding these layers between the owner and the manager that always makes a problem. Now, it works in Manchester City and Barcelona because they already know what they're doing and they've already got all of their infrastructure in place. But when you're trying to build it and put it in over a period of time, that's not the club DNA, that's not how the club's ever worked, it's too difficult for these people to understand and implement, because they really don't know what the hell they're doing. And we know that all the way through. Yeah, even Arsenal fans don't like Edu. Yeah, Edu's a problem. But I don't know. I can't remember the guy's name at Man United that basically fired him. Oh, he's an ex-player, some idiot. It was above Ruben Amorim and making the decisions for the transfer window for January. That's where this all came from, because he needed new players in January. He expected that he was going to be backed, and he was basically told, "You're not the manager. You're the coach." That's why he was saying those words. I know exactly the conversation that was going to be had in that boardroom, and they put him in his place and said, "No, you're not in charge of transfers or bringing in players. We are. We'll bring the players in. You'll do what you're told. You're just the coach." That's why he said, "I'm the manager. I'm the manager." That's why he was saying that publicly, because he knows what was said to him. That's not what I signed on for. I signed on here to be in charge, like I was at, I think it was at Sporting Lisbon, wasn't he? Where I'm in charge and I get to build my team. That is the way you build a successful club. When the manager and the club work together, that's what Marinakis was doing with Nuno last year, hence they were. But let's look at Maresca at Chelsea. It's a similar business model. They're following, these bigger clubs are following the same catastrophic business model, by the way, absolutely chaotic. Look at what they brought in. They brought in Graham Potter, trying to have him be the coach. You go and look after we'll give you the players. We'll give you millions of them. You just coach. It doesn't work like that in football. It never has done and it never will do, unless, of course, you're Barcelona, Bayern Munich, or Real Madrid. And you can't use those as a case study because they're the outliers. They're the top clubs in the world that get to do whatever they want. You can't just arrive there and say, right, we're going to copy them, because it doesn't work like that in football. Nuno was the manager. We would still have had, yeah. Oh, yeah. Potter is a shocking coach and a shocking manager, but what he was a yes man that was going to do what he was told. So they wanted him in, so he would just sit there, shut up, and work for their model that they're building at Chelsea, because they think their model is correct, and they're not. It's half correct, but they didn't listen to Cash 2 years ago when I told them why their model would fail if they didn't put experience throughout the team to help these younger players. They're going to completely and utterly miss everything that they're doing. If they don't do that, it's just going to be another dead football club with loads and loads of players that, yeah. And that's one of the biggest problems. These people that own these football clubs are very successful business people. And they think that football somehow works this. It's sports. It's a completely different way of running a business. The infrastructure behind the scenes of getting talent to the manager has to rely on the manager and the players working together. It's like a threefold factor. It's not just we got players, they play for us. No, we've got players, they play for the manager, and then we win football games. And if you don't have the players playing for the manager, which you don't at Chelsea, you don't at Manchester United, you don't at many of these clubs, because they're replacing that manager, the players will never play football for your club. West Ham should have had Bielsa, Noble. Yeah. No, I don't see. The problem is with ex-players, I wouldn't have ex-players ever near my football club, right? Ex-players are some of the worst coaches there ever are. They genuinely are. It's very, very difficult to find a good ex-player that can become a good coach. It's very, very hard. You go, oh, Pep, yeah, but he's not the same as everybody else. You might get luck, but having a Noble come in, no, because he's not smart enough. He doesn't know enough about stuff. Like, all he knows is kicking a ball around. Great. You've got to be smarter than that. That's why I think Scott Parker actually is kind of done himself a bit of disservice. The reason why I don't think Scott Parker's a good enough manager is because he's not ruthless. And remember, players are a different mindset than a coach. Players aren't ruthless. To be a good manager or a good coach, you have to be completely ruthless. These people aren't like that. And the other problem with ex-players is they always side with the players. Being a manager is they always side with the players. And as a manager, you've got to side with yourself. You've got to back yourself, and you've got to get the players on board with you. You don't go and back them, they back you. And that's what's happening in this modern game of football. You can see it. The manager's hung out to dry by the board and by the players, and all of a sudden, you're in a massive problem. Lampard, a good coach. He's not a good coach. He's doing okay in the Championship. He's not a good coach. When he was at Chelsea, he was awful. And here's the difference. He's coaching players that don't have egos. He's not coaching top talent. He's coaching players that look up to him. That's the difference. If you're in a Championship, you can be a good ex-professional in the Championship level because you're a better footballer than all of them. So they respect you for that, and you can stay there. When you go up into the Premier League, you lose that because people they won't have any of it. Frank Lampard's got more money than all of those players. By the way, that's another massive important factor when you're a manager. If you're not on the same economic pedestal as these players, they're going to look down on you. Think about this. There's a 22-year-old kiddie who's full of talent, right? He's full of talent. He earns more money than you. He's on a 5-year contract and you're on an 18-month contract. Does he really give a shit about what the manager is saying at Chelsea because he knows it's a project and they'll change the manager at will? What? These players don't play for the manager at that stake then. Like, if you look at Pep, Fergie, Wenger, Klopp, everyone played for those managers, not for the Manchester United badge. That was the secondary thing. It was, oh, we wanted to play for Fergie and Man United. I wanted to play for, Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool. What they think is they're going to come and play for Chelsea and the manager. Oh, we're going to fire the manager, change him. It doesn't matter. It's not how it works in football. The manager needs to have all of those players backing him and being on his side 100% of the time, all of the time. And in the modern games, the way that they're running these football clubs, these managers are just coming and going, interchanging in systems and, stuff. And people go, well, where's the leaders on the field? Where's the heart of the... Well, they don't play for the football club. They pay for a paycheck. They're not paying for a manager anymore. So until you actually install someone okay, go the other way. David Moyes is not getting fired from Everton. Everton don't play good football, but they all play hard. Not one of those players aren't going to give you 100% every single game because they're playing for the manager. Go back and have a look over the last couple of months of what's been going on at Nottingham Forest. It's a classic example of a complete and utter disaster where you got in a new manager. Okay, great. The players started complaining. As soon as the players started complaining, they got rid of the manager. What? And then you're back to square one again. It's a complete disaster. Those players, when Ange Postecoglou came into Forest, were not playing for him. There were so many missed opportunities and chances that the games that he could have won, and they didn't. So the players, remember, are the last ones to be held accountable. See, Ange lost the dressing room because I have a feeling there's a lot more to this Ange problem at Forest than meets the eye here. And this is a huge problem where if you go back and I was hearing that they were booing Ange on his very first home game. What are the fans booing the manager for on his first home game for? Well, you've already lost everybody because all the media was against Ange. So it was an absolute non-starter for him. They basically bullied him out of the club before he even had a chance to get his feet in. But again, that goes back to the problem where what they'll just do is fire the manager. The last people to be held accountable are the players. Always. To me, it's insane. It's like, oh, yeah, but the players aren't any good. Well, how come they beat so-and-so a couple of weeks ago then? Well, because they were coming up to the transfer window or the World Cup's coming up, so the players step up their game level. But, of course, if they always know that the manager's going to be fired at any minute or in any minute, within a 3 to 6 month window, the players don't care. Now, you might have some old war horses like Casemiro who just play at a level. Casemiro plays at his lethargic, walk-around level of football, and that's what he plays at because he's been doing it so long. But when you've got these young, new kiddies coming in, pretty much anyone under the age of 24, they are not going to be listening to what these people are talking about. Amorim was terrible, but here's my problem again, okay? Amorim was brought in by a club that was trying to put down a new system and a new way of playing and a new idea, and we're going to do this for 3 years to do a thing. You don't back him. You buy him in the middle of the season. In the middle of the season. You don't back him. The players know that. He starts trying to move a couple of players out, and he does that. He gets rid of like the Rashfords and the Garnachos. And when it gets tough, instead of backing him, so all the players now know, oh, shit, we actually have to step up and play properly, and I'll listen to this guy because he ain't going anywhere, they fire him. That puts them back at square one again. They've all gone back to square one again. Absolutely square one. Yeah, they are quality, but they're not there. See, they're off at the African Cup of Nations, and all of a sudden, Man United draw 2 games against 2 terrible football teams. I don't think Leeds are terrible, actually. I think Leeds are decent. I think Leeds should have beaten them, to be fair. But it's more about the Wolves game, but the drawing at Wolves. And that's the biggest problem. It's like, okay, so you're doing a 3-year project, but you're judging us on this spot of games when our new signings and our goal scorers are off at the African Cup of Nations. What? Oh, isn't he injured? I think there's another one injured. I think isn't Kobe Manu injured as well? Watch him not be injured next week. Yeah, he won't be injured. And if you're sitting there and you're planning your club and your structure of your club, and you haven't already identified, this is why I'm saying they don't have a bloody clue. Oh, did he? No idea. You can tell I pay attention to my reviews. When you've got like the January transfer window, if you haven't already had this planned out since the end of the summer, what are you doing at a football club? Like, I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled. I would have a board up of every player that we need in every position, of everything that we're going for, and knowing that what their contract is at their other club, how much they're worth, how can we buy them. Every time we play Amarim, didn't play a back three. Hello, buddy. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, you're going to go take the dog for a walk later, or are you going to join us in Discord? Yeah. So, so it's really like when you look at how badly run these football clubs are, and the lack of, I mean, everyone gives these people credit, and I look at what they're doing, and I go, they're absolute idiots. And I listened to, I was thinking about doing a video on these two clowns. They're Liverpool fans. They've got like Red Men TV. They've got a big following. And these two idiots speaking, I'm just like, this one guy says, oh, yeah, it's they're talking about injuries and sports science. Yeah. And you can't have the players on because of sports science. And it's true. It's a thing. I'm like, really? Really? So riddle me this, Joker. We've got more sports scientists, middle management, in football than ever before. We've got more injuries than ever before. And we're not allowed to tackle. We're not allowed to slide tackle. We're not allowed to tackle from behind. We're not allowed to put any sort of foul on anybody ever whatsoever. But yet they're all injured because of sports science. You're talking nonsense. Because, of course, these aren't people that know anything about anything. Do I think the club trust Amarim with the next signings? Well, if you're not trusting him with the next signings, you weren't into it for 3 years. That's my point. Mr. Stones, long time. Yep. So it's this sorry, my sports science rant. The problem with footballers is if you give them an excuse not to play, they'll take the excuse not to play. They still get paid. They don't genuinely care. I couldn't stop laughing at Everton yesterday. Oh yeah. But every sports scientist out there, what they're doing, honestly, is trying to get a job. So they're finding problems with players. I promise you they're finding problems with players to say, oh, he can only play 72 and a half minutes. To be honest, Amram did get rid of the bad eggs. He did. Oh, yeah. Like, I'm telling you, I don't think he'll bring Manchester United back up to any sort of level. I don't think. So it's interesting that he's halfway through sort of his little tenure of trying to put Man United on the map, and you don't trust him for the next signing windows, but you've trusted him for the past year and a half. And because he's had a couple of bad games, you go, oh, no. We're not going to reinforce your model and back you up. We're going to basically get rid of you. And it comes down to, again, it's only going to get worse in football. And it is these sports scientists and these middle management people that aren't on the hook for anything. Because remember, the manager's accountable, then they kind of complain at the board a bit, and then last they'll blame the players. And of course, when they complain to the board, it doesn't mean anything anyway, because no one's ever going to change or do anything. I mean, look at how this board has completely and utterly destroyed West Ham Football Club. Absolutely destroyed it. But to me, it's madness that they're looking for yes coaches to go into a system that hasn't been proven. I swear they've put it all into ChatGTP. I might try to get their bloody their mandate or what they're trying to do at their football club, put it through an AI checker and see if AI wrote it. because it looks like to me there's a bunch of morons, middle management morons. Like, he was complaining because I understand where he's coming from as a manager. He had to take Cole Palmer off because he was told to by the physios because he wasn't allowed to play more than 60 minutes. When they pull him off, the whole crowd gets on his back and shouts, "You don't know what you're doing." He's not allowed to, to leave him on the field. You could get him on a free. He could. So now he's on the hook from the fans thinking that, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's going, well, I'm not allowed to pick my own team and do whatever. I'm just a yes man. I'm just stood here because they're all picking the team and telling me how long they can play for and what they can do. So there's no real point me being here. And it isn't going to get better. There isn't going to be a silver bullet at the end of it where, oh, it's suddenly going to change, because these people, when they get their feet under the table, it doesn't matter if it's in business, it doesn't matter if it's in the government, they don't leave. They find to make another sports science department. And these people, what we do is we analyze the shoelaces. What do you mean the shoelaces? Yeah, if they do their shoelaces up too tight, it causes a problem. So yeah, my whole department is shoelace department at Chelsea. Don't think that won't happen. It will. And the more of these clowns that are in football and we don't call it out, that's why it was so important to get Eddie out. Like, you didn't fire. Oh yeah, I could. Yeah, that's quite kind of funny. Yeah, Zuko got sacked for the same thing. Yep. And that's the problem. The players then, think about who the players are thinking who their boss is. Think about that. They know it's not the manager. They know it's the sports science team, or it's the. They know that it doesn't matter what this guy says to me. I don't have to listen to him because I just have to go with what the sports scientists say or what these guys say. It doesn't make any difference about what coach comes in, what coach comes out, because the more they work on these data models and these sports science clowns, the more they're going to destroy their football club. I'm still yet to crunch the numbers on how many sports scientists there are and how many injuries they suddenly find. Now, because there's another thing that they won't talk about, is what's the difference between being injured and being hurt? I played hurt pretty much all the time. Most footballers played hurt all the time. There's a difference. Nowadays, they don't play hurt. They just go, oh, and they sit out. Man United had a season where they had too many injuries and yet no one questioned the medical team. No, of course not. The medical team. This is my point. It's like all of these things just get washed and they just focus on the manager. How can you have more injuries with less tackles? No slide tackles, no tackles from behind. You got more injuries? Are you sure? Or are they just hurt, saying that they're injured so they can't play football? Is there a difference there? And I think that's a massive thing that's happening in football more and more. And no one's even talking about it. They're too busy talking about Ruben Amorim's system is the problem. Or, well, no. I always used to say I could beat you and I'd coach origami paper folding. That's what we'll do. We'll sit in a circle and we'll do paper folding. But by the weekend comes, my team will beat you. Because we're mentally stronger than you. We're tougher than you up here. And the game's up here. Because they can all play football. They can all run around. But we're stronger than you. And my team backs me. And they play for me. The minute they stop playing for me, I'll be fired within a week. Right? I don't think that Man United team's played for him once. I don't. Rashford was playing with a bad back for 3 years. Yeah. Was he? Or was he told he was playing? What was his bad back? What really was the pain level? Oh, yeah, he wasn't hurt from Forest. Oh, my God. Victor from Forest, that goalkeeper was... I've never seen such a bad goalkeeper in my... oh. Yeah, that was insane. That was insane. And also, though, I don't know... I've got to look at the numbers. Compared to the amount of sports science that there are in a football club now, think about this. If you've got the sports scientists making the decision of when, how long a player can play for you on the field, right? You can't actually put any sort of shape together and design any plan to beat a team because you can't play your players when you need to play them, right? That's out the window. Gone. Now you can't pick your own players and say, okay, I really need to replace these two holes here. because, well, the game versus Leon, the players helped him. Oh, did they? It was against Leon. Yeah, but again, though, was he really hurt? Was he really hurt? Like, what's the level of pain there? Because I don't trust Rashford. He's one of those players to me that does everything for the cameras. You know, he's not doing it because he's, I don't know, actually physically hurt, you know? Yeah, a bit of a baby for me, bit of a baby. But my real question comes down to when you've got, right, let's just go through the football clubs. If you look at Forest, they're in shambles because the owners made middle management, Edu, destroyed the manager's reputation with the team. Club's almost in tatters now. You've got West Ham. They've destroyed everything from their home stadium. They knocked it down. So many problems they've had at that football club. They're not going anywhere. They're not getting any better. Even if you take someone like a Spursy, they're in a very, very similar situation. They've had good managers. They've had Conte. They've had Jose Mourinho. And they chose not to listen to those world-class managers that have won leagues and Champions Leagues to come up with their own nonsense. And look where the Spurs are now. Sports science. And that bloke that cuts the oranges at halftime. Yes, that's exactly right. Bielsa, but it's just a broken finger. Who cares? Get on and play. Like, director of football, that's the bloke whose mum washes the kit. Exactly right. But here's the thing: if you've got a good director of football, I'm yet to find one. He's working for the manager, even though he's the manager's boss. His job is to provide all the tools for that manager, so his job in life is easier, much easier. The more job positions, the more influence. Yep, 100%. 100%. And it's who do the players listen to? If you've got all these roles and positions inside of the club, see, it's different when you're a corporation that's like Man City because you're geared up to run that way. You were set up to run that way for 5 years before you started doing things. Very, very different. Spurs are a bigger joke than Forest. It's another badly run club. And they think because they've got money coming in, that it's not a well-organized club at all. They're terrible. Pochettino, I can never say his name. Yeah. Well, of course he shouldn't have been sacked. But again, why did they sack him? Because these bigger clubs now, and I would take Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool out of that equation because they've structured their clubs differently. They're all going down the same model, and they're in trouble. They're in real trouble because there's no coming back from it. Pochettino is a classic example of what the fuck sacking. I like Pochettino. There was a point when they played, Spurs played Liverpool in the Champions League. Okay, that was their pinnacle. And the next thing that they should have done is bought 3 better players than they had on the field to invest in that squad and move forward. The minute they didn't do that, the minute you knew that club, those owners don't have a clue of what they're doing. They're there to do one thing, make money, not to put a good product on the field. Man City should have been in the championship with 150 million. That's another point, by the way. Oh my God, everyone's kind of I don't know anyone that actually thinks Manchester City have ever won a Premier League title. You know, like I can remember back in the days when United were winning the titles and everyone got annoyed because it was always United. When Man City win it, no one takes it seriously. They just go, oh, yeah, they bought and paid for it. Yeah. No, who cares? I genuinely don't know anyone that thinks it's a good thing. Yeah, Poch was building a very good thing. A very good, yeah. Oh, yeah, very good. Because he was Pochettino was doing something. He was looking after the players and the players backed him. None of these players back any of these managers anymore because of the way that club, as we're saying, all the clubs have been run. They know that, oh, wait, I'm only allowed to play 60 minutes because that's what I am. And I'm told that because I've got a World Cup coming up. Ask yourself, is Cole Palmer coming off at 60 minutes by that medical staff? Is that a World Cup decision so he can play in the World Cup? Or is that a Chelsea decision? Because none of those sports scientists are going to get fired if Cole Palmer isn't playing and doesn't score a couple of goals. The manager will. So then, and what will they say to the board? We're protecting your assets. He's one of our best players. We don't feel by the medical data that he can play and he's fit. And you're like, So it's well, that's a better comment. Poch was on the Forest list. Yeah. So it gets more and more bogged down in this bureaucracy in football. And that's why United are close to being done as a football club. And I mean done. Like West Ham done. Like there's no coming back from them, They're very, very, very close. Because you can't recruit players into Manchester United without paying them stupid amounts of money. Who would you go to? Arsenal or Man United? Arsenal. Man City or Man United? Well, Man City. Liverpool or Man United? Well, this year, maybe not Liverpool. That's probably an even fight. But Man United can't draw the players that they need in to actually put a team back together again. So what you've got to do is go old school and actually build a football team. Yeah, laptops are the new lapdogs, 100%. And it's not just that, right? So there's lots of people that work in football that have never achieved anything, okay? And they haven't been in the limelight and they constantly wish that they were a football player. So they're doing everything they can to try to, grab a bit of that attention. Oh, look at me. I'm important in this club because I'm the one that makes the decision on the players, not the manager, because they can't be the manager. And that's what they'd really want to be. So they're stuck doing something else. Maybe if we knew the names of these sports scientists. Oh, that's a big point. Forest always beat West Ham for players. Exactly. There is a pecking order. When you start celebrating draws against smaller clubs, the standards are down. That's what I mentioned in my video about United, and their standards have completely and utterly gone. And again, why have they gone? Because who sets the standard? The manager. And if he can't set the standard because he's been constantly undermined by sports scientists and then the recruitment team are below him on the scale, he's done for. You can't set standards. You just can't. And if you look at the successful clubs, Klopp, Pep, they were in, you knew they weren't going anywhere, and they're controlling their team, and everything they do goes. And I think Klopp, by the way, he didn't actually have much on the transfer window. It was that was other people behind him, but they were getting him the players that he wanted. When you start saying, oh, sorry, I always saw that one. The computer nerds talking about XG. Well, yeah, exactly. But you see, this is the point with data. You can make data actually do anything you want in football. XG is very, very important, by the way, used in the right context. If you're not using it in the right context, it's making you sometimes think that you've created more chances than you actually have, which is a real bad thing. When you look at, but look at the XG, we should have had. Then you look at the chances, actually what happened, and you go, no, they were rubbish. And how the ball got delivered there, it was more their mistake than us creating a chance. So there's so much that goes into football because it is a dynamic, free-flowing game of two sides. Our XG is awful under Dyche. Go and have a look at it under Postecoglou. Go on. Go and look at it under Ange. Yeah, I'm telling you, Forest should have absolutely battered some of those teams. And when you go back and look at the chances and you look at the players that were missing those chances for Forest, you can see that there was the players again. I deliberately think some of them just missed on purpose. There's two shots where they skyrocketed them over the bar from 7 yards out, where I think they deliberately missed. But that's huge because they knew that, well, we're the players. They're going to fire the manager. We're all right. And that is a massive, massive problem in football. We were doing it, me and Mr. Stones were doing a little bit of a chat about how many managers we think will be gone this season. I think at the start of the season, we said like 7. And I think we're already at 7. Like it's going to get worse. Southgate is the best option for Man United. Before you shoot me, I can't stand the fella, but he would be the best choice for that club. Okay. You're not wrong, but you're not right. The thing with Southgate, it's not going to get any worse. But no one's going to want to go play for Southgate. What Southgate will have done is drop the standards so low for Manchester United that they've got a chance to build from it. And that's one of the things you have to realise as a football club, when you have to stop a minute and go, right, well, we're not even a top 10 side. We're bang average. middle of the table Premier League side with a big bank account and a big reputation. We are a club that's 10th to 14th. So the players that we're looking at are in that range, and we have to build so we can get all, up to 6, and then we can build from that. Otherwise, they're just utterly lost. Oh, yeah. Oh, what? You mean you made the football right? I want to tell you now something that I'm going to give you one of Cash's little secret things that no one knows in football. Okay, and I mean nobody knows this in football. Oh, Man United might go for really Southgate, perfect for the share price index. Exactly, that's the real. Yes, it is, and that's the biggest problem. As long as they're in the Premier League, do the Glazers give a crap about the performance on the field? As long as the money still keeps coming in. The only time they'll care is when they go to get a kit sponsor. Instead of getting 120 million, they're going to be offered 80 million. That's the only point that anybody at Manchester United's board will actually try to do anything. Yeah, I heard he might go. I don't. His contract's up at the end of the season. He's not going to renew his contract. If Glasner goes, he does play the same system as Amarin's playing. But he's got better players at Palace than Man United. He really does. And then you've got this problem where at the end of the season, you've got the World Cup. So do you put a new manager in, or do you hold and wait for the World Cup to finish, and then a whole bunch of managers come available, and then you've got your pick? But it's not going to make any difference. Whoever they put into Man United is going to do the exact same thing. It's not going to make a damn bit of difference, whichever manager they put in, because the club infrastructure behind the manager is completely and utterly wrong. And until they change that, yeah, I mean, it's awful. And they're not going to change that. That's the sad part. Like, when I was going on my rant about the Forest guys and about Edu and why Edu was a problem there, it's because of the style of owner. As an owner, Marinakis can't have any middle management things in between him and the manager. He has to be in charge, right? He has to have a direct link with the manager going through, because that's the type of person he is. He couldn't run like a Man United style club where everyone's got a say and all these, because he's too hands-on. He's just like Roman Abramovich. They have to be in charge. That's their personality, which is great. That's exactly the kind of manager you really want. Sorry, owner you really want. Because that's the way you'll get something done. And then, well, for me, it's always about the quality, but sometimes the work ethic. Well, it does matter. Marinakis should have gone for Glasner instead of Ange. Yeah, probably. It would have been a better fit. But I have a feeling we've got all these hipster coaches coming through, and it's not going to change anytime soon, and it's only going to get worse. It's going to be funnier to watch. But think about this. Chelsea and Man United want yes men to come in and put the team on the field based on sports science and the data. That's ultimately what they're saying. You've got to play the players when we want. Don't play them over their time. We'll get you the players. You've got no choice in them. It's like, what are you actually got a manager for then? What's the point? Yeah, I love American having a go at Nunes on the pitch because he cares. Yeah. See, here's the thing with Marinakis. If he's not humble enough to come and say, look, sorry, mate, I had a go at you because I really wanted to make Champions League. And his answer should have been to Nuno, what do I need to give you so we can get into the Champions League? That's what he should have said. A couple of weeks later, after it's calmed down, can we do it this year? What do we know if we're going to do it this year? That's what he should have said to Nuno. And then Nuno could have taken it to the next level. But they didn't. And this is the problem with football. You're dealing with egos and children. All of them. They're just pathetic children. You can't tell anyone what's what because they'll genuinely have a full-on meltdown tantrum. You can't tell the players what to do because, well, yeah, they'll go and cry to the sports scientist. And the sports scientist will say, oh, it's a sick note. He doesn't have to play this week. At the point, I would rather Sam Allen with a 4-4-2. Big old Sam. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think Forest have got an interesting game against West Ham. that's going to sort of put them in a situation where they're going to find out where they are. Wall fans singing about Nuno, yeah, beating West Ham. Yeah, he's one of our own. He's one of our own. Yeah, yeah. As well, though, I don't know if you kind of noticed, I don't think a lot of these managers are very capable either. I know that there seems to be a lot of, turmoil. Like Unai Emery, I think is quality. I really do. Look what he's doing at Aston Villa. But other than that, Cash, were you going to say something about running? I will in a second, buddy. Yeah. Nuno is going to throw that back. I think Nuno might throw that match, by the way. That could be funny. Yeah, well, getting the players to run, and I'm going to tell you one of my little secrets now with coaching. It's one of the biggest problems in modern football is because the modern day footballer doesn't want to be a footballer. They want to be an influencer. They don't want to run around on the football field. They don't want to do all that hard work. Genuinely, they're lazy. Now, all coaching sessions are run wrong. I'm going to tell you that. All of them. They don't train teams properly. Okay? They just don't. If you really want to make a team and you can train your football team and you want to make a really good football team, you use Cash's secret method that nobody does. Nobody coaches like this in the world. You run your coaching session for 50 minutes and you run it massively, massively intense for 50 minutes. You take a 15-minute break, then you run it for 50 minutes again. And you do that. That's what you do if you want to make a really good football team. And the reason for that, shocker, because it's not 50 minutes, it's really 45 minutes, but you're playing the extra 5 minutes of extra time. You've got half time, and then you go again. They don't train like that. Like, it's insane to me. Like, genuinely, they say train like you play, really, but you don't train them like you play them. Like every coaching call, every coaching license, I sit there looking at my head going, you guys ain't got a fucking clue what you're doing. Yeah. Nuno doesn't get a sack payout if West Ham are not in the Premier League. Ooh. I don't think Nuno cares. White wants to be an influencer. This is exactly what I'm talking about with a modern footballer. You know, just think about how many posts they can do a week if they go off to the sports science person and say, I'm injured. My back's hurting me. Oh, sorry. Cole Palmer can't play more than 52 minutes this week. Can you put somebody else on instead? He's got posts to do for TikTok. Yeah. I was going to talk a little bit about the Man City model, but it always gets me in trouble when I talk about the Man City model. So I might save that for a video, so at least I can check it before I post it. Yeah, do remind me on that, because I will try to get some more information on that. Because the Man City data model is basically what clubs are trying to use to make their club, but not following the Man City data model. They're going, oh, we can build a team off data like Man City have done, and Liverpool's done the same to some sort of respects as well, and they're not doing it the same. Therefore, more money for Nuno is getting sacked this season. Watch this space. Will he be sacked? Oh, okay. So I get you. So if he stays there and they go down, he won't get a payout. But if he gets sacked before they go down, he will get a payout. Yes, he's throwing the game on the weekend. Yeah. He's definitely going to get sacked. That makes more sense to me. That makes much more sense to me. Yeah, that makes much more sense to me. Is that it? Correct. Yeah, I get it. Oh, I get it. Rashford has an MBE. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you know what that's for? Tax avoidance. That's what Marcus Rashford's got that for. Yeah. To me, though, it's baffling about the infrastructures of these football clubs. I can remember the first sort of how to run a football club book that I read was from the FA. God, when was that? Like the late 1990s. It was bloody rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. It cost like a tenner. It was absolutely rubbish. Nuno will be sacked this week because he wants the money. Oh, yeah, I can see that. West Ham can have Dyche. So let's get this right. Dyche beats Nuno. Nuno gets sacked, right? What do you think? Nuno goes back to West Ham. Dyche goes to Nuno goes back to Forest. Dyche goes to West Ham. Is that what's going to happen? The bookies won't like that. Dice to West Ham. Yeah, Amorim. Oh, you think Amorim? I don't think Amorim will go to Forest. I don't think that'll happen. No chance at all. Yeah, just do a straight swap. What is the tax relief? No, so what Rashford was doing, he was getting paid offshore, so he never paid any UK tax. Then what he was doing, when he was bringing money back in, he said he was giving it to his charity for the lunches. Yeah, and it's all just a big tax avoidance scheme. Musical P45s. That could be a fun game there to play. Musical P45s. Who's going to go to which club this weekend? Dyche is going to go to West Ham. Nuno's going to go back to Forest. What do we? I reckon Ruben Amorim's going to go to Chelsea. Maresca's going to end up at Manchester United, and that's what's going to happen. None of that's going to happen. None of that will happen. But it would be funny. Oh, that's yeah. But I wouldn't want Dyche. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. Dyche is the Ginger Cooper. Everyone's been saying that. Amorim will most likely go back to Portugal. I really kind of feel sorry for Ruben Amorim because he's not good enough. He's not a good enough coach, and he's not a manager to actually have that Man United job in the first place. And he was actually doing okay at Sporting. They beat Man City, didn't they? 4-1 or 4-0 or something. And he was going to make a name for himself. And he had his team. He had it structured. He had it organised. He was doing well. And they came in and ripped him out of there when he said, "No, I'll take it to the end of the season." And they were like, "No, come now. We'll support you for 3 years. We'll give you everything you want, except for a striker and a wing back and a midfielder. Yeah, you can have a bunch of number 10s. I know you've got number 10s, but we'll give you some more number 10s." The accountants, bankers are, oh God, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Dyson Simone, two sides of the same coin. Yeah. It is going to be interesting, I think. I've genuinely struggled to do videos this week. You can probably see about how little I've put out. Because to me, the games were so boring this weekend as well. So boring. Well, Eddie's on his way out. So don't be surprised. Well, Eddie's off, isn't he? That's the rumour mill from Wolfie. Don't always believe Wolfie. No, I don't. He's pretty connected with Forest, isn't he? If he knows, he knows. So that's what Wolfie's saying. Everyone does well in Portugal. Yeah. Who am I thinking of? No, I was thinking of someone like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer went there, but he didn't, did he? Like he went and won some other podunk league, didn't he, in Sweden or something? But it's completely different. And the main reason, like I was saying earlier, the reason it's different is because of the money. The level of arrogance and ego that comes in when you earn a certain amount of money and you're having to deal with that as a manager is very, very different, especially if you don't have that much money. I want you to pick Everton apart against. I'm trying to do that tomorrow. I really am. I was going to do it today, but I'll tell you another thing why I'm sort of like I should have been finished by now, but I'm not. I said I'm going to do more in the new year. It'll probably be February. It's because I'm moving house. So me trying to move house is so complicated. That's what's taking up a lot of my time. And I've still got law papers to write, and I've still got businesses to run, and I've just got too much going on. As soon as I've moved in, though, I'm pumping out videos all the time and tearing people apart because then I can just sit in one place all day, every day, and I can do my thing. So that when that happens, I'll be a much happier cash because I still want to do my advanced. It will be on Patreon. Mr. Stones will get it first, and then it will drip through it to everyone over like a 6-month period. I will run the exact technical analysis course, advanced technical analysis course from Barcelona. It's basically a master's degree level qualification in technical analysis. I will do that on there. So you can all know the background and the backstories of all these utter clowns, where I talk about, the pivot, the club that made the pivot doesn't talk about a double pivot because there's no such thing. Well, they do in one article, but it's not what you think. Does that mean Zinchenko gets maybe? Ollie back at the wheel. Oh, that'd be so good at Man United, wouldn't it? So that everyone see Ollie's at the wheel. That would be so funny if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer went back to Manchester United. But having Darren Fletcher come in is going to be the same thing. It's just going to be the same thing. It's going to be a little bit of I don't know. Think about when I was saying that the players don't play for the manager. I think they'll play for Darren Fletcher. I think when he comes in, United are going to win the next 3 games, right? Just like they would under Ollie. Then what they're going to do is take their foot off their gas. They're not going to do anything. And then all of a sudden, they'll start losing again. They'll get to the point where Darren Fletcher's going to get fired. And then they'll all start playing football again. Of course, will be something I will remember. Oh, no, don't worry. No, you don't need to remind me on it. So one of the main points why I ended up coming on a YouTube was because I actually wanted to do coaching courses live in person all around the UK, advertise them, charge money, go have people come into classrooms, go out and do week-long football courses to teach people football coaching. Okay. Mike Bassett, yeah. But then when we all died of the flu, and in the great toilet paper crisis of 2019, I couldn't do that, and I couldn't flush that business model out or do any of that. So I was going to come to YouTube and just start doing coaching courses and coaching, proper licenses here. But it's almost impossible with my computer skills to get across the messages that I want, which I could do in a classroom with a piece of cake with a board and off I go. It's very difficult here for me to do that. So that's the point when I'm on Patreon and I'm going to be putting that up over there. It's because that's what I want to do. That's actually what I was here to do originally. So Darren Fletcher's son starts playing. He says that attended games a few weeks. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Hello, Bassett. Oh, yeah. So that's kind of where I want to get to. Well, I will get to. And it's also a big slap in the face to Barcelona. Oh, sorry, Barcelona. What's this? How can a guy from Africa get a UEFA license? Honestly, you're in Africa, buddy. You can just get one, can't you? I'm sure you've got a friend that can make you one, right? You can do a holiday trip and book. It depends. Yeah, you could probably. I don't know if you'd be able to do one in the UK because it's just so hard to get on UEFA. This is one of the other reasons to get on a UEFA license, unless it's a C license. It's almost impossible in the UK unless you're an ex-player. So you might want to go to Portugal or Spain. If you've got a choice, I'd go to Portugal. Soon they will employ actors and influencers on the head coach. You read my mind. That's exactly where I'm going with this, mate. Exactly where I'm going with this. Think about the setup. Pre-match interviews, walking down the tunnel interviews, after-game interviews, Super League. It's no football. It's no football. Because there's one thing I did want to show. One thing, other than me being awesome, is this. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yes. Oh, yes. Because this is offside. Just going to let all Liverpool fans, sorry. I know Liverpool have had a lot of bad VAR decisions go against them, primarily when they play against Man City. But this is offside. It will be 100%. Well, because it is to it, right. Football's always been a bit of this anyway. It's always been a bit of drama anyway. It has been WWE anyway. But it's going to get worse. It's going to get so much worse. Oh, I want to get the license quick because my national team just wasted taxpayers' money. Okay, DC, we'll talk about this because you can probably get to coach in your youth team, in your national team quite easily. You could just contact them, tell them what you need, ask them what you need to do, and you could probably get through. I've worked for bunches of, Olympic programs and all sorts of stuff just by contacting them, asking them, okay, what do you need help with? Can I help you? What do I need help? What do you need help with? I've actually got a paycheck at one Olympic place that still haven't given me my paycheck, actually. Ronaldinho being featured in Fast and Furious. Ronaldo. Well, yeah, of course, because it's all about that, isn't it? It's not about football anymore, because otherwise they would know that this is offside. And I learned something new today, looking at this offside decision. Did you know that there isn't an offside properly rules in the Premier League? We have a thing called tolerances of plus or minus 5 centimeters. So he can be offside then? and they can call it onside, or you can be onside and they can call it offside. That's what you've just told me. How can you say that this is accurate, but you're going to give it a tolerance of plus or minus 5 centimeters? Apparently, in Europe they don't have that, and the line is the measurement. So basically, that line there is the 5 centimeters tolerance. But to me, that's offside all day long, and yet it stands. And this is the game that they want us to watch and invest in. And yeah, it's all madness. Yeah, utter madness. Other than that, boys and girls, I might call it a night. I do want to get more into this actual club structure stuff as we go. So I'm going to start referencing it more in my videos as we start building it forward. Yeah, other than that, I'm still learning how to use this streamy software. So don't yell at me too much. Yell at me, I don't care. And I'll see you next time. As soon as I figure out where the thingy is. Oh, yeah, here it is. Yeah, no, not that one. No, definitely not that one. That's the one. And I'll see you next time, guys, on Cash Talks Football.